entertainment and controversy.
Sanbonani Makaya. This is your host, Gaddafi Manafi, and welcome to Attention Show, the voice of the entertainment industry, where we bring you relevant information pertaining the industry, education, information, entertainment, and of course, what is Gaddafi Manafi without a pinch of controversy. Today, we are bringing you VUSA Mkhaya. VUSA Mkhaya is a musician. He will describe what kind of musician he is, where he's based, and blah, blah, blah. So if I say anything about him, then I will be ruining the purpose of the whole interview today. So obviously we're going to be talking about music, but we're going to be talking also about performance, global performance, and blah, blah. So just stay tuned and we will bring VUSA Mkhaya. In the meantime, you must subscribe to his channel. Don't just watch, okay? VUSA Mkhaya. Hello, my brother.
Hi, how are you? I'm excited.
Yes, it's good to have you here today, hey?
Yes, it's good. It's good. Yes. Been looking forward to this.
Yes, it's been a while. I mean, we've been postponing for quite some time. Yes. And okay, so VUSA is a musician. He's a songwriter. He's a music producer, a cultural activist, and also an artistic director, right?
Yes.
Did I miss? Is there any title that I've left out that you maybe wanna drop it in? Are you a pastor?
I think you said it all. Maybe content. These days, we live in the digital age where people create content. So some people have called me content creator as well, but
content creator. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I've added that in. Content creator. So how has COVID-19 been? I mean, to you are based in Vienna.
Yes.
And how has that been? What changes has that brought into your life? Was there any distractions whatsoever?
It was the first COVID lockdown was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard because it hit us all. We were not ready. And we were supposed to go on tour. And now all the gigs are cancelled. And you're at home. You don't know what to do with your time. And there's no income because, the main income comes from the gigs, even though there are other income streams, like royalties and other small jobs. But the first lockdown was hard because I don't think anyone was ready for it. It just hit us all. And you don't know what to do with your time. And now you're trying to balance. We didn't know how long it's gonna be. So you're looking at your bank account and thinking, okay, how long am I going to survive with this? Am I going to survive for a year or is it going to be 2 years? And now if you are eating 2 slices of bread, you are now cutting to 1 slice because you see, because you don't know what the future is going to be, how the future is going to shape up. So I think for me, it really showed me some important things in life because we take a lot of things for granted.
Yeah.
So COVID, the lockdown was like slow down and look at life a bit different. So it really opened a lot of my eyes and the way I think about life now. Everything that we have can be taken away from us in just a minute.
Just like that.
Just like that can be gone, you see.
Yeah.
So after the first lockdown, we were like, okay. So now you start to plan, you start to, to start working online and also creating and getting jobs. And, people were not ready for so many
We're all
things. And I
ready.
think, yes, then you start go online, you see, people dancing with their families, with their kids on TikTok. And
Yes,
you see
yes,
people discover Zoom and all these kind of things. So
yes.
it was hard, but it was beautiful again in a way because it brought families together. It brought
Yeah.
friends together. It brought a sense
Yeah.
of unity because then okay, I have family, I have friends. We can play on TikTok. We can do this online and stuff. And also,
Yes.
work-wise, was a good way to create because there's a lot of
Content.
time, a lot of content to be brought out there.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm glad we survived. We made it. We made it
Yes, we
because
made
we are
it.
almost out. If we are not out already, but it's like the last stages of COVID-19. So we hope that things go back to normal and there's like live
Yes.
performance. But obviously, this thing has changed how we view. Like you said, that it has changed a lot, and it has created so many doors to be creative at the same time. I mean,
Yes.
concerts now are visual, something that we never thought it will happen. Because when we say concert, you must go there, pay your ticket, and walk in there and hold your beer there. But now you can buy a ticket and still watch it online and have your beer at
Yes.
home, at the comfort of your own home. So obviously, it has taught us that things are moving to the digital platforms, and
Yes.
we need to be more open-minded about all of that. So meaning that maybe tours will not be as hectic as they used to be. Maybe until things are like really cleared out and there's a need for any tour or big festivals. So anyway, let's get into it. Welcome to the show. I haven't even welcomed you already. We got into it, and thanks for making time.
Thank you.
So who is VUSI? Who is VUSI NDLOVU?
I was born in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. My name is
Mm-hmm.
Busumuzi Ndlovu. My middle name is
Okay.
Nkaya. So
Yes.
I grew up in Bulawayo in Zimbabwe, and I was raised in a Christian family. So
Yeah.
singing at home was always something that was normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Waking up and singing, then going to Emakaya to visit Ugogo and also sing with Ugogo. So I
Yeah.
was that kid. I was that kid, where when visitors come, there's always that
Mm-hmm.
one kid that is being called and come,
So you were the
show them what you were doing 2 days ago. So yes, I
yeah.
was that kid, the entertainer.
Yeah.
And there was, Mahlatini and Mahotela Queens, right?
Yeah.
They're from South Africa.
Uh-huh.
Mahlatini and Mahotela Queens were big in Zimbabwe in the 70s, even later. So they used to
Yes.
play Mahlatini and Mahotela Queens on our radio, on radios.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't remember that because I was still a kid. But I am
Yes.
told that every time Mahlatini came on radio, I will go
Mm-hmm.
and sit next to the radio and sing along to the songs. So there was
Yeah.
Mahlatini, there was Manyanyata, there was Spokesmashiane, and most of
Yes.
Mbakanga. Yeah, so I'm told
Yeah.
that I used to imitate those guys and sing and dance. So now when visitors
Yeah.
come, then my parents say, yeah, come and show us what you're doing and stuff. So music has been already entertainment, as a kid. And I was
Yeah.
that kid, raised in Bulawayo. I was born
Yes.
during Rhodesia times. Zimbabwe was
Yeah.
Rhodesia before independence in
Of course.
1974. So a
Yeah.
part of me was Rhodesia, and then after independence, yeah, I continued with music.
Nice. And how
Yes.
was it? How was it? Like growing up in Bulawayo, was it easy for you as a musician? Was it easy for you to find yourself and to break into the industry? Because we know that it's not very easy to break into the industry, no matter where you are in this world. How did you break into the music industry in Bulawayo?
It was not easy because
Yeah,
when I finished school, high school, I think it's the version of matric in SA. Like in Zim,
yeah.
it's all level
Okay.
because we did Cambridge in
Mm-hmm.
1991. I, in fact, rewind. When I was still at school, I had a group we were singing in school. Then there was
Yeah.
a competition organized by the Ministry of Arts and Culture, where
Yeah.
different groups came together to perform. So
Mm-hmm.
I saw some guys from the city because I was now at a village school because my grandmother was
Yeah.
living alone. So they sent
Yes.
me to go and stay with her so that there's
Mm-hmm.
someone she can send around. So I
Yeah.
saw some guys who were performing and I thought, wow, these guys were cool. They were from a school in
Mm.
Bulawayo. And during the school holidays, I went to Bulawayo and I went to their
Yeah.
rehearsal space because they had told me where they rehearsed. So I joined them and we
Mm.
were rehearsing. So I knew that when I finish school, I will go back to Bulawayo and rehearse with these guys. And this is
Mm.
how my professional arts career started because I went back to Bulawayo and I went to the rehearsal. So we were rehearsing and we had no gigs. We didn't know what to do with what we were rehearsing, waiting for people to book us. And
I can
it's,
imagine.
it's,
Yes.
it's, a, it's a youth club. So just wake up in
Yeah.
the morning, go to the rehearsal room at 10 in the morning, finish at 1, go back home,
Mm-hmm.
nothing much going on. So one Monday morning, we came to the rehearsal room after maybe 3 or 4 months of rehearsals. Just coming there,
Yeah.
rehearsing, and complaining, like we don't have gigs, but we are better than these other groups and blah, blah. So,
Yeah.
we had youth clubs in Bulawayo, youth
Yeah.
centers. So these youth centers, are there to guide us, young people, and so that we find something to do. And there was
Yeah.
a social worker. We used to call him
Mm-hmm.
Uteacher Club or Teacher Youth Center. So he came to
Yeah.
us one Monday morning and said, "You guys, I've observed you rehearsing and you are really good. But there's something that
Mm.
I'm not getting."
Yeah.
And then he gave us an example. He says, "Do you know, early in the morning, right? One lady wakes up
Mm.
early in the morning, goes to the market,
Yeah.
and she buys fresh tomatoes, like the
Yeah.
freshest tomatoes that are there in the market at the moment, brings them home,
Yeah.
keeps them under the bed, and doesn't say or mention them to anyone. Then someone else wakes up around 8 in the morning, goes to the
Mm.
same market, buys like the
Yeah.
leftover tomatoes and rejects, brings them home, displays them outside, and says, these are the best tomatoes ever. And people come and buy them
Mm.
all. While the best tomatoes are somewhere under the bed and they're not being displayed. So
Uh-huh.
he said, we are the lady who buys the best tomatoes and doesn't display them. And
Wow.
by that, he meant that we were rehearsing, but no one knew what we were creating because he was the only one who saw what we were doing and no one else. So
Yeah.
he says, you have to teach yourself to go out there and show people what you're doing and what you're capable of doing. Don't just
Yeah.
go and buy and buy and buy without selling. So that's when our
Yeah.
aha moment came. And what we did was
Mm.
we couldn't get gigs. We started going to
Yeah.
schools, primary schools, performing for the little
Yeah.
kids. And then we started
Yeah.
secondary schools, and then we started community halls. And it took a
Yes.
little bit of time for people to warm up to us because we had no recording, we had no name, we had a name, but no one knew who we were. People want to
Yeah.
watch what they listen to radio, and then you come and
Yes.
say,
Yes.
"No, we are Insingizi Emnyama and we are singers." And they say, "What's your song? Any song that we know?" No. Have you
Mm.
recorded?
Yeah.
No. So it was really not so easy, but we
Mm.
believed in what we were doing, and we knew that somehow we were going to get our breakthrough. It took us a few years, but finally we managed to break through in 1995. We got our breakthrough in 1995.
Wow, after so long. How did that happen? Tell me what happened.
We got an invitation to do a cultural exchange program outside the country. So one social worker again approached us and said, hey guys, do you know how to speak English? This was his first word. Do you know how to speak English? I said, yes, we speak English. Yeah, because now there's an offer for a cultural exchange program, and we're looking for people to send outside the country, to Denmark, to go and work with kids and perform and do stuff. And said, yeah, we want to do it. So we got our first tour. I mean, we were performing already locally, at events and at the trade fair and stuff. So we got our first tour in 1995 where we went out. And we knew that as soon as we managed to get a little money, we were going to record, because we still hadn't recorded anything. We couldn't afford to save money for studio time. The little money that we got from gigs, we paid each other so that we can survive.
Yeah.
So in 1995, we went into a studio in Aalborg in Denmark and recorded our first album. And we had one song that spoke, because 1995 was the time when HIV and AIDS was also,
was a COVID-19.
Yes, was the COVID-19. So we did a song about HIV and AIDS, an awareness song. And this song became a big hit in Bulawayo and then the rest of Zimbabwe. This was our breakthrough into the Zimbabwean music market.
Yeah. Wow, yes. That's a very inspirational story. But of course, good things take time. Good things really take time.
Yes. Yes.
And when they sit and they sit really, really well. Really well, So with all the recording things, how did you get to where you are right now? Like, how did you're in Vienna right now? How did you get to there? Was it due to music, or was it just life's transition and then you just ended up doing your music there?
It was because of music. I am grateful for the music, because without music, I don't know where I will be. Music has always been with me my whole life.
Yeah.
There was a time where I fast forwarded the story, but I can bring it back a little bit. Between 91 and 95, right? This is where we were still trying to get our breakthrough. And my family were not happy, of course, because they wanted me to get a job, to become a teacher, or, like every other family, they want you to get a decent job.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do music. So my elder brother organized a job for me through his friend, an attachment at a bakery. So they wanted me to go to a bakery and learn, how to become a baker.
Yeah.
So I went into
okay, network is good. Yeah, you're back now. You're back now. You can continue. Can you hear me? Yeah, technology. Can you hear me, VUSA? Wanyamalala, VUSA wamkaya. Wanyamalala.
Malala,
Okay, so you're a bit, you're back. Yes, now you're back. You're back. You're perfectly back. You see, the song helped, man. The song helped. Okay, so you can continue.
Yes.
Your family wanted you to work at a bakery, you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Yes.
And then,
So I went to this bakery with the hope that I won't get the job. I went to the interview. So I went there in the morning, and then after 30 minutes, the manager says, "Come, follow me," and he takes me to the bakery, and they're giving me clothes and stuff. And I started working there and there. So I worked for 3 months, and every weekend I would ask them, like on Friday to Saturdays, I have a gig. Can I please go to a gig? And my manager was really nice with me. He said, "Yeah, you can go to your gig." And I think after like asking 4 or 5 times, he says, "Man, you must decide what you want to do because I can't be giving you all this free time. No, I have to be fair with everyone."
yes.
He really liked me, and he liked my drive and the way I worked. And he says, I have to be fair. I can't be giving you time to go and do your music all the time because I have to balance these things. So after 3 months, I decided I don't want to work here anymore. I told him on a Friday, I got my money, and I said, Babu Kumalo, his name was Kumalo, Babu Kumalo, thank you so much for all that I've learned here, but I am going to do my music. And Babu Kumalo said, I'm giving you until Wednesday. It was a Friday. So he says, I can come. He's giving me until Wednesday to decide if I really want to quit. So I can still come back on Tuesday or Wednesday and I have my job.
Yeah.
So I told him that I'm leaving. And I went home and I lied. I said, they told us that there's no job anymore for us. And so, so then my elder brother met with Ubabu Kumalo at some event a few months later. And Ubabu Kumalo says, your young brother was really, he was a hard worker and he was very talented. And he just left like that, just disappeared on us. And my brother thinks, but I told him that, I was laid off. So, yeah. So this was my short, in my whole life, besides doing music, I worked for these 3 months at the bakery. This is the only thing that I've ever done besides music. So this is just to show you that I've been doing music my whole life. And I had a bright future at the bakery because they were training me. I was becoming an apprentice and whatever. And they were telling me all these good things. You are the best whatever in cakes and that. I said, I understand all that, but I want to do music.
Yes.
So
and just before you speak about moving there, a question, because you spoke about working with young artists. I mean, you sent a few samples or songs of musicians that you worked with. Was that before you moved from, because they're all based in Bulawayo in Zimbabwe, right? So was that before you moved to Vienna, or was that after?
This was after.
Okay, now tell us. Then I think then you should start with how you got to Vienna. How did you get to Vienna then?
Yes. So before moving to Vienna, working with young people was always a passion of mine because, we had people that we looked after, but they were a bit distant from us. So we couldn't approach them for help. And most of the things we learned on our own.
Yeah.
So this is one thing that I told myself that if I ever make it or, have a name out there, I will try to assist those who have no access to studios or to doing things, so that they don't be like like what
They
we
don't
were.
struggle like you did. Yes.
Yes. So we did
Yeah.
our tour in '95, and we went back to Zimbabwe, and we kept on performing. So another opportunity came up 2 years later to do our tour in Austria. So we did
Yeah.
Austria, Slovakia, and Denmark.
Hmm.
And we kept coming back to Austria every summer.
Yeah.
So then I realized that in Austria, almost every household, there is a piano or an instrument or a violin or a guitar, because
Yeah.
learning music here is something that everyone does at school.
Yeah.
Music is huge. Music and theater and art in general is big
Yes.
here. So you go to a music school and you find all kids writing notes, even if they're not musicians, but they learn music. It's part of their
Wow.
curriculum in school. So
Wow.
it was fascinating for me to watch, because I always thought if I would go to university and study, I wanted to study music, because this is
Yeah.
something that I really enjoyed. But in
Yeah.
Zimbabwe back then, there was no possibility to study music. Now there is a possibility, but back then it's only when only teachers also got the chance to study a bit of music, so that they can teach at school, and they teach music. So you
Yeah.
had to be a teacher to study
Yeah.
music. And I didn't want to
Yes.
become a teacher. So I saw that opportunity here in Austria, and we were doing a workshop at the University of Music and Arts. And I saw
Yeah.
everyone can read notes, everyone can write notes, everyone knows, the structure. And here I was singing, and if they give me, the music sheets, I just look
Yeah.
at them. I see these black dots on them. I don't know what it is exactly.
Yeah.
So that's when I started inquiring what can I do in order for me to learn. I mean, with my
Yeah.
other friends that we were touring with. So we started learning
Yeah.
with a private tutor, like enrolled at a music school here. So that's how my transition into moving to Austria began, because then I got a chance to go to school to study music
Yes.
theory and
Yeah.
classic accordion and flute. And so I studied music theory for 3 years in Austria.
Yeah. Wow.
And
And
and after
after you
so,
studied music, then were you able to then what happened after that? Did you then get into projects, or like how did you get into the music industry there? Because I noticed we
yes,
spoke about the one in Bulawayo. Now there,
yes.
how did you penetrate into the market?
It was also not so easy, because in the beginning you go to school. No, we come on tour, right? You do your tour 1 month or 2 months, you go back home. You get
Yeah.
a few dollars, you go back home. Now you want to
Yeah.
study music, and there's no scholarship.
Mm.
So this means we have to perform, and the money that we're making, now we are
Yeah. You have,
investing into our school.
yes.
There's no
Yes.
going back home. And now you
Yeah.
have to pay your rent. Now you have to pay your food, because when you are on tour, you are at hotels or at hostels and stuff. No rent is required. There's always food
Yeah.
after the gigs, and no
Yes.
expenses. So now the transition to now you have expenses in a foreign land. You have to pay your rent. You have to pay your bills. So
Yeah.
we at some point we were basking as well, because we wanted to raise money. In the summer we went
Yeah.
out, and we saw that people were basking and making money. You just put a small I don't know what you call it in English.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more thing where
Were
people
you?
can throw in money.
Yes, money. Yes.
Yes, yes. So we perform on the streets as well, and
Yeah.
we were one of the lucky ones. Well, I say I was one of the lucky ones, because sometimes some famous musicians or pop musicians here because they know the quality of students. Students are coming from all over the world to study pop music, jazz music, all kinds of music here in Austria. So sometimes when we are doing a recording project, you get big names coming to the university or to the music school to search for background singers for their productions or to search for instrumentalists because they know that your fee will be less compared to professionals out there. So we started doing these kind of jobs, session jobs, performing in studios as a background vocalists and stuff, earning money. And your name goes out there because you perform with someone and they see your name on it and you get the next gig. And so this is how I got into the music industry as a background vocalist. And then whilst you're still trying to build your own name, but work with the famous ones, they put you on a platform where you cannot be without someone who is known. At the same time, try to build your profile. And when you play at gigs as a background singer, ask maybe for one song. Like during their set, they give you one song to perform or two songs to perform so that people can see that you also have something that you do. And with time, people start to realize, and promoters and bookers and booking agents and stuff like that. So this is how the transition happened.
Wow. And when you started being like working in that manner, you obviously you were working as a background as a backing vocalist, you say. How did you get to a point where you became an independent, like where you started writing your own music, being I'll put it as a soloist, because so the transition from being working in the background to now being the one in the front. So how did that happen?
It was I was always in a group, the a cappella group, right? And when we did all this, even in the background, I was still with the group because we moved. All of us moved here. So I'm a big fan of traditional music and music from Zimbabwe and South Africa. I grew up listening. When I started listening to music consciously, I mean, not the Mashatini way as a kid. Like Jabu Kanyile, for example, was a big influence. Stimela, Ray Piri, and Chico Twala, and all those names.
Right.
And I really wanted to write because I used to listen to a lot of. I mean, I still listen to music, to a lot of it. But I was fascinated by the way, especially Jabu Kanyile, how he fused, like traditional music with a bit of modern music. So I can hear a bit of Imbube influence, a bit of Maskandi, but it's not really Maskandi. I can hear a bit of pop here and there. So this was something that I really, really, really enjoyed listening to. And when I was working as a background vocalist and also with the a cappella group, I wrote my own music on the side with the hope of recording it one day. And I always thought if I get a budget or get money, I will record. So I started recording my music in 1997, 8. I had no plan to do an album or anything. But when I got a chance to be in a studio or just a small studio budget, I would go and record a song under my own name and keep it on the side. So I had a lot of recorded songs because I also wanted to hear how it sounds, how it's going to sound and stuff. So I was always recording and waiting for the opportunity.
Yeah. And what genre of music do you write? Because obviously you are more influenced by traditional music, and you listen to your Jabu Kanyile or Matlatini. So did you also write your music in that line, line of genre?
I think it was mixed now because of my also studying here and with the classical music in my, when you're in Vienna and you go to music school, there's no way you can
Yeah.
bypass classical music. So
Yes.
what I prefer is to keep it, whatever mixes I bring in, I always want to maintain that traditional sound. And this is why
Yeah.
German or in English. I mean, once in a while I can sing in English here and there, but I want to keep it traditional in a way that someone can really understand. Even if you hear
Yeah.
like some solo violins on some of the songs and stuff, but I will still sing in Ndebele and you have the background and the choir. That brings you
Yeah.
back home. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And then how did you start going back to when you started working with young people in Bulawayo? How was your working relation, and how are you helping them, or how are you helping them into making their journey better within the entertainment industry?
I think we are helping each other because
Yeah.
I learn a lot from young people. There's a lot, these days things are going fast, and there's a lot that I learned from them. So when I started recording and touring, and
Yeah.
also when I was sure that now I'm settled and I have a little money on the side, every time I went to Zimbabwe or when I recorded, I made sure that I record with musicians at home because they need those kind of jobs. They need that push. And
Yes.
also making sure that they get studio time. So sometimes
Yeah.
I just go there, identify like 3 or 4 musicians who I think really deserve studio time, and I pay for their
Yeah.
studios so that they can
Yeah.
record their songs. And then with my 2 other partners, we decided to create MGIZ Music Publishing
Yeah.
because many musicians at home who record and they don't know what to do with their music. Again, back to the story of the lady with fresh tomatoes under the bed. So now
Yes.
I say, bring the music, let's put it out there for people to see.
Yes.
So now we put their music online and make sure that they get all the proceeds. Because there's always stories of record companies and record labels
Of course.
doesn't get anything. So what we do is we upload their music online and they have access to that database to see everything. Like we show you, we put everything on the table. You can see, okay, I
Yeah.
got $5 from Denmark, I got $2 from this place, I got two
Yeah.
dollars from this place, and we give it to you, all of it.
Yeah.
Because the idea is to make
Nice.
sure that they have an income.
Of course.
And we are not
So,
taking
are you
anything from them.
sorry?
So
Are
go
you are
ahead.
you only working with are you only working with musicians from your homeland, or have you opened the platform to other Africans who also want that kind of platform?
For now, we were working with musicians from Zimbabwe, but the platform is open. If anyone approaches us, if there's
Yeah.
anyone watching this interview from South Africa, from Swaziland, from wherever, they can
Yeah.
approach us and we listen to their stuff and we can work.
Assist them. Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about usingisi. Is it usingisi? Right? What does that
Insingizi.
mean? Yes.
Insingizi. Yeah.
What does that?
Insingizi is the ground hornbill bird. Inyoni yezulu. And this is the a cappella group that, Insingizi is Insingizi, like in a family setup, you have ubaba no mama, and you have
Yes.
kids, right? So kids will go and build their own homes, but they will always
Yeah.
come back home to the main home.
Yeah.
So Insingizi is my foundation in music. These are the guys that started with me when we were
Oh.
when we were going to buy fresh tomatoes and put them under the bed. So we've been together for more than 30 years now in music. So all of us do other projects and we come back and work together as a group. So in 2004, we had our biggest breakthrough because with Insingizi, we were recording, we recorded our low budget, our album, very low budget. Like I said, we were basking, doing background vocals for different musicians and stuff. And we raised a little money to go and record in the studio. So we recorded an album called Voices of Southern Africa. A 14-track album.
That's the name of the album, Voices of South Africa.
Southern Africa. Yes. And this album was signed by ARC Music Productions, a company in the UK, for marketing and distribution. And somehow it landed in the USA, the album. And it got into the American shops and got sold. We were, by that time, America, we hadn't been to the USA, but our album got there first before us. And we were surprised, we were all surprised positively when we got the news that the album was certified gold in the USA.
Wow.
So, certifying gold in the USA, because these things don't depend on the numbers. They all depend on the numbers, depending on how many people live in a country. So in the USA, it's a 250,000 copies is gold.
Wow.
So this was like our biggest breakthrough. And I remember when I got the news, I thought maybe this is a spam, maybe this is not right, this is and this is Insingizi. So Insingizi is still there and is the foundation of everything that I do.
Beautiful. And I think, look, it just shows that if you don't forget where you come from, like doors will always open. And if you always remember where you come from, you always get blessings, man. It's all about going back to where you come from and, taking those that you struggled with, you hustled with, taking them with wherever you go. So, well done on that. So, when you also spoke about your love and passion for collaborating with other artists. When you speak of collaboration, what kind of genre do you look into? Because there's a lot of genres that you also tap into. So what kind of genres do you, so that if someone says that this is the kind of guy I want to collaborate with, they must also consider the kind of genres you work on?
So good question. So far, I have collaborated with classical musicians and traditional, and in Zimbabwe with also hip hop. So I would love to really, collaborate with any genre that I think, sometimes you don't know what will come up. You just come and create music. So I don't have any limitations. But I'm open for any collaborations, and I have never collaborated with anyone from South Africa, for example. And this is something that I want. No, sorry, this is a big lie. Oh. I did last year during COVID lockdown.
You see, it's COVID, it's not you. So let's on COVID.
Not disrespect to Bramzi. Mzilikazi wa Africa brought an amazing album out, and on one song, Vuga, I am singing with Kanyo Mapumulo. with the
Nice.
Siskanyo Mapumulo on that
Yeah.
song. And with another lady, she's an opera singer, I forgot her name. But
Yeah.
it's a beautiful album by Z Wa Africa. And there's another song I did. It did not come out, or it's not out yet. Also
Yeah.
by a South African producer.
Yeah.
And it was me and I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but one singer, because it's not out yet. I don't know if they will bring it out. So there are two
Yeah.
songs that I did
Yes.
during COVID. But this is why I forgot, because I was here and they
Yeah.
sent me the files. So I sang my part and I sent them back. So we did not meet in the studio and collaborate like the way I imagined us
Yes.
being in the studio,
Yes.
creating and writing together.
Together.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
you'll be getting more of South African collaborations, and of course, I will be, suggesting, because I know I've gone through your music, and I think I kind of can know your taste, and especially when it comes to, we have digital, or let's say, what do they call it, electronic instruments. So it's
Yes.
you don't need a drummer. You just use that beat that has been prepared or whatever. But
Yes.
you're more into live music more than
Yes.
those, So I think
Yes.
I do have a few people that are also, because that's my passion as well. I love real music, not something that
Yes.
has been created through
No.
all these things. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll be forwarding you some, suggestions,
Yes,
some
please.
names.
Yes, please. Yes,
Yes.
please.
So now tell us about your nominations and the award that you won during during your journey.
I yeah. Sometimes it's not so easy to talk about these things because when you are raised in a family of when we grew up, they were told me, "Lingakhulumi, don't say things about our family, just keep them keep them at home, especially
Yeah.
with this success and stuff." But I was honored. The Zimbabwe Achievers Awards in the UK, I got an
Yeah.
honorary award for my services in music and arts and culture for Zimbabwe.
Nice.
And
Nice.
last year in Zimbabwe, I got a National Arts Merit Award for
Yeah.
Best Artist in the Diaspora. This is a category where they look at artists that are working outside Zimbabwe, the best in doing
Yes.
what I was doing that year. So I got that
Yeah.
award as well. And I was
Mm-hmm.
nominated for two other Bulawayo Arts Awards that I've never won. No, I won the last year, and I was nominated for the Austrian World Music Award, but I've never won it.
Yeah.
So far, I have 3 awards that I've won. And I worked on a song. I worked on a soundtrack for a
Yeah.
movie. This
Yeah.
was a movie based in Kenya by a
Yeah.
German director.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the soundtrack for the movie. It's
Yeah.
called the movie is called What to Watch. And
Mm-hmm.
this movie was nominated for an Academy Award, for an Oscar Award, but they never
Wow.
won. And for
Wow.
me, working on a production like this, because when we started working, they had no idea that it was going to go that far.
Yes.
So then it got an Academy, and I was happy to be a part of this production as well, because my biggest dream is because I do also movie soundtracks or
Yeah.
documentaries and stuff. But my
Mm-hmm.
biggest dream is to work on a big movie on a big movie soundtrack. And I think I'm moving on the right direction.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, look where you're coming from,
Yes.
from putting the tomatoes under the bed, and now you're in Vienna.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So, okay, so you've already answered my my next question about producing for films and documentary adverts,
Yes.
etc. So you can score music as well, obviously, because
Yes,
now
I
you can read music. It's no longer dots.
No. I can do also music scoring, and I have done a
Yeah,
few adverts as well in Zimbabwe. I
yeah,
have done for a bank, and also
yes,
for one of the biggest health insurance companies. Also, I've
yeah,
done adverts for them, music for them. So now it's
yeah,
not only the dots, but the dots make sense.
yeah. That does make sense.
Yes,
And
yes,
what
yes.
advice would you like to give to our young artists out there, no matter where they are, and they want to be, they're inspired by your story? What advice would you give them to, kind of give them hope and, for someone who's looking up to you, an inspiration on how to even start? Yes, they're listening to your story, but what advice would you give them besides what the story that you have told us?
First, I will say that
Study.
don't hesitate. If you think that you have it and you can do it, whatever you're doing in the music, in the arts, do it. Ask those who can help. If you can find help, because yourself, let people be the
Yeah,
judges. If you are
yeah,
writing music, write music, give it out to the people, sing,
yeah,
do whatever you do, play that instrument or try.
yeah,
And then never stop learning. Never stop learning from others. No matter
yeah,
how good you think you are, no matter how much you think you have made it. Because
yeah.
sometimes people will record one song, they hear themselves on radio and they think, Mama, I made it. And
Hey,
now they can't be told, they can't
yeah,
be, because then they grow wings and they're flying. So
yes,
always know who you are, know
yeah,
where you come from, and
yeah,
be curious and listen to critics because they are the ones who make us who we are. Never
yeah,
stop learning and never
yeah.
stop taking advice
And be
from
humble.
other people
Stay.
and be
Yeah,
humble all the time. Like I
yeah,
have a friend. A friend was asking me today, no, yesterday. He says, he has a podcast in Bulawayo. He says,
yeah,
I want to interview some people. Do you have numbers? Can you give me suggestions or numbers? So I gave him
yeah,
like 3 or 4 suggestions, like big names in Bulawayo, right?
yeah,
And I said, send them your message and tell them that I gave you their numbers. So he comes back to me and say, all of them replied, and all of them were nice to me.
yeah,
And they were talking about dates and stuff. How
yeah,
do you guys do it? He says to me, how do you guys do it? And I say, what do you mean by you guys? You say the older artists who are out there doing things are easy to talk to when I want to bring them to my podcast. But he says he was talking to one artist who has one song on radio right now. And the artist was like, no,
yes.
send me an email and we'll discuss it with my team, then we will get back to you.
I also have that experience. Don't worry. So I get
You
where you're
see?
coming from.
So it
I
says,
know what
it says,
you're
send me an email, then we'll discuss it with my team, then we'll get it to you. But this is someone that he knows. So he was
Yeah.
thinking, if the
Yeah.
older guys who have been there are the ones who are saying these things, I would understand to a certain extent. But the older
Do you
guys are saying,
understand?
okay, when do you want to do the podcast? What time? Let's talk.
Yeah.
Which days are free? That's it.
Ye- Yes.
So always,
Yes.
always be humble and always
Yeah.
know who you are and
Yeah.
where you come from and where
Yeah.
you want to go.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man. And where can people reach you? Like any social media platforms where you at on YouTube? You are.
Yes, Vusamkaya official on YouTube.
Yeah. On
No,
Facebook.
sorry. Vusamkaya Music on Facebook, Vusamkaya. On
Yeah.
Twitter, Vusamkaya. On Instagram,
Yeah.
it's all Vusamkaya. Just Vusamkaya, you'll find me.
Okay. So for
Yes.
anyone who wants to communicate with you, send you an email if they want to send you their music for you to listen to. Do you have an email
Yes.
address they can send it to?
Yes, the email address is info@mkaya.net.
All right.
Info@mkaya.net.
Perfect. I will also
Thank
use
you.
the information on the caption so that people who listen to the interview later I can also get that information. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
making
much.
time for being with us
Thank
today.
you so much for having me, and I'm glad this time the internet behaved.
Yes,
Thanks
yes, I'm
to,
happy to.
thank, thanks to your song.
Oh yeah, my song. Yes, my song. It saved the day.
Yes,
It
it did.
saved the day.
Yes, it did.
But thank you so much, and I hope this is not the first and the last interview. But if we can have you now and then, and obviously there will always be a different angle to the interviews that we're gonna have in future. But otherwise, thank
Yes.
you so much for giving us the intro interview today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
stay warm there. Stay warm, and I know our
Thank
winter
you for having me.
is. All right,
Yes.
cheers. All righty. Okay, okay. Thank you guys for watching the episode today. You heard all about, what VUSA was sharing, and I think one thing that stands out for me will always be education, guys. It's education. You see how VUSA actually got to where he is right now. He's in Vienna, Austria, because of studying music, and now he's lalela, hola, hola. Because he studied music, and if he didn't study music he wouldn't be able to be where he is right now. But for you to actually be impactful within the industry, noma bangangitshela ukuthi yalalela studying music is not important, listen to me, it is important. Don't be the only one who is not studying, because labantu bakutshela ukuthi studying music is not important are the actual people who studied music and will actually do more than you can. Okay, so ngicela ukuthi nistudishe, do short courses, whatever it takes. Just do it. Just do it. Otherwise, thank you for joining us today, and see you on the next episode. And I hope all be ready for the next one. Obviously, we're gonna announce it on Facebook. Otherwise,
Attention! Attention! About education, about information, about entertainment and controversy. Yeah.